Welcome to the Finance Marketing Podcast, a show that empowers finance professionals to market their businesses in ways that feel good and actually achieve results. I'm your host, Hillary. I've been working with folks in financial services to develop marketing strategies that work and create results-oriented marketing content since 2020. And I've learned a lot about what works in finance marketing, what doesn't work, and where financial services pros get stuck. Join us each Friday as we explore real, effective ways to market your finance business and connect with folks who truly embody your ideal clients. Hey listeners, Hillary here. It is 2025. It is February. I am back from my maternity leave. I am so excited to be back, and I'm excited to kick off season 2 of the Finance Marketing Podcast. So for our first episode of season 2, what I really wanted to do was go back through my wonderful slate of guests from 2024 and kind of review my top favorite episodes. So, what I did in 2024, every episode that we did featured a wonderful guest, and I had a mix between industry leaders and industry experts. So, industry leaders are finance professionals themselves. They're the advisors and the coaches who are running their own firms, who are on the ground, doing their own marketing or participating in their own marketing. And they came on the podcast and told me all about what they were doing and what was working and what wasn't working, and all of that wonderful stuff behind the curtain. Now, industry experts are people like Matt Halloran of Proudmouth, who is a podcast expert, Allegra Cook, who is a book ghostwriter and business book expert, Tiffany Sattler, a LinkedIn expert, and she does LinkedIn profile rebrands and LinkedIn ghostwriting and things like that. So what I did for this episode was I chose my top 3 episodes of industry experts and my top 3 episodes of industry leaders because there were just so many to choose from. I couldn't narrow it down to just 3 or 5 or what have you. So I'll start with industry experts. And the 3 that I chose them not only because they were great conversations, but because I think they are so foundational for every financial services professional to have as part of their marketing and as a business owner. So the first one that I'll start with is the conversation I had with Natalie Hales. And if you have not heard it, that episode is called On Discovering the Right Niche to Grow Your Firm with brand strategist Natalie Hales. Now, Natalie is a friend of mine. She and I connected on LinkedIn quite a while ago. And so it was a really fun conversation to have with her. She and I are very much aligned on the importance of niching in financial services, which, as you know, is highly competitive. There are lots of advisors out there. There are lots of coaches out there seemingly competing for the same clients if they are serving just kind of a general audience. And so she and I both really, really believe that niching is one, a way for financial services professionals to stand out in the industry really easily, and 2, a way for them to build a business that they really enjoy working in. Because one of the most important parts of niching is choosing a niche that you and your expertise can truly help. And so when you're working with someone that you're already, your expertise is a good fit for, by default, you're going to enjoy working with them more and you're going to gain time if you're only working with those people and things like that. So by nature, you attract those people that you most enjoy. Now, it was just a really great conversation with Natalie. She and I talked about how niching can dramatically enhance the effectiveness of your client acquisition. We busted some myths about niching. We talked about fears that financial advisors and coaches have about niching and how to overcome some of those fears. So if you have not niched yet, or you're in the process of niching, or even if you have niched and you just need to be reminded about why that's such a great decision and how you can leverage that decision, go back and listen to this episode again. Now, the second industry expert that I am choosing to highlight is actually a 2-parter episode. And this one is 7 serious mistakes financial advisors make on their websites with website marketing expert Manda Shefchik. Now, to be clear, this is applicable for both financial advisors and financial coaches. Manda is another dear friend of mine. She is absolutely top tier when it comes to websites and website marketing. So the reason that I chose this episode in my top 3 industry experts is because your website is such a core piece of your marketing. You can almost guarantee that any prospect who is going to come and talk to you, whether they're from a referral or they found you online or they found you on social media or they Googled you, you can almost guarantee that they're going to go to your website before they book a call with you. And so if nothing else, you want your website to be as top notch as you can possibly get it to be. So I split this episode into 2 parts because Manda and I ended up just having such a great long conversation, and I didn't want to publish an episode that was so overwhelming for people that they wouldn't be able to listen to the whole thing. Now, between these two episodes, Manda talks about 7 serious mistakes that a lot of financial advisors make on their websites. And the best part of this is that all of these mistakes are easily fixable, and Manda tells you how to fix them in this episode. So definitely give this one a listen, or listen to this one again if you've already listened to it, and make sure that your website is not making a single one of these mistakes, because ultimately you want to excite your prospects about getting on the phone with you rather than turning them off, because all they need is the slightest reason not to reach out to you, and you do not want your website to be that reason for them. Now, my third industry expert episode that I am choosing to highlight is Everything You Need to Know About Advisor Testimonials Under the SEC Marketing Rule with Brian Thorpe. Having testimonials that you can use in your marketing content, whether that's on your website or in your emails or your social posts, is such a powerful tool for building trust and authority in your space online. But advisors have historically been very, very limited by how and when and even whether they can use testimonials at all in their business. Fortunately, in the last few years, the SEC is making changes through that, and Brian Thorpe is the go to expert about using testimonials in a compliant manner for your firm online. So, if you don't know Brian, he is the CEO and founder of Wealth Tender, which is the most amazing directory for financial services providers on the internet. It allows clients to go and search for financial professionals, both advisors and coaches, based on things like their professional credentials or whether they're specializing in serving certain occupations or industries, based on locations they serve, all different kinds of things. Consumers can go to Wealth Tender and find a financial services professional that's right for them. So, a lot of advisors and coaches that I know are members of Wealth Tender. And one of the really, really great things about Wealth Tender, particularly for advisors, is that it gives you built-in tools to allow you to use testimonials compliantly on your website and in other marketing materials. So it's just absolutely invaluable. And in this episode, Brian talks about all the steps that you need to take if you want to be able to use testimonials in your firm, whether you use Wealth Tender or not. So again, because testimonials can be such a powerful tool in getting prospects to trust you before they even have a conversation with you, you'll absolutely want to listen to this episode. It is well worth the time and effort to be able to use testimonials in your marketing. Now, a few industry expert honorable mentions that I would love to highlight are optimizing your LinkedIn presence with LinkedIn expert Tiffany Sattler. So many financial services professionals are on LinkedIn, and Tiffany has a lot of great tips for how to simply optimize your profile and make sure that your posts are connecting with your audience. Another would be building influence and connections through podcasting with podcast expert Matt Halloran. He is the go-to source for financial advisor podcasting, so that is a must listen. Another is mastering the power of video marketing for financial advisors with Nikki Clark. Nikki is also a powerhouse marketer for financial advisors. And the last one that I will quickly mention is the art of getting quoted in media publications with Forbes writer Robert Farrington. So Robert is always sourcing quotes from advisors in his particular circle and using them in the articles that he writes for Forbes. I know a lot of other advisors who have been quoted in publications like Business Insider or even published articles themselves on Business Insider. They've been quoted in MarketWatch, all these big different media publications. And then they're using those mentions to their advantage by posting about them on their website and in their socials and things like that. So if you want to hear more about that and how to do that, you can give that episode with Robert Farrington a listen as well. Now, switching gears here a little bit, I'd love to highlight my top 3 episodes from industry leaders. So, the top 3 that I have chosen are all financial advisors who are just doing really, really great things in marketing and have great examples and strategies that you can use in your own firm. So, number 1 is building a standout brand based on core philosophies and client stories with Ryan Canfield. One thing that I always like to talk about with my clients is, what are your brand stories? What stories do you have from your life or your work with clients that really bring to life your brand and your philosophy so that prospects can connect with you online before they've actually met you? Storytelling is one of the most effective strategies in marketing right now, because stories really bring an authentic human experience to marketing content, and they provide a way for people who don't know you to form a connection with you. Ryan Canfield does an excellent job of bringing in a couple of core stories that really resonate with his target market. And he uses these stories in a lot of different places in his marketing. He uses them on his website. He uses them in his lead magnet. He uses these stories in his podcast. He repurposes them all the time because they connect with prospects and they resonate really, really well. So definitely give this episode a listen, because what Ryan is doing at his firm, which is called Victus Wealth Management, is really shaping a powerful brand identity for him that's going to be very, very recognizable for his ideal clients the longer that he is in business. Now, another advisor who is doing this really, really well is Mark Hansen. So, Mark's episode is another two-parter, and this episode is called How Financial Advisor Mark Hansen Built a Brand That Starts Conversation. So, what I love about Mark's story is that he spent a lot of time when he was launching his firm in the branding process. He was very, very involved in the branding process, even though he did hire a professional designer to bring it all to life. He was very intentional about the colors that he chose for his brand because he wanted them to reflect his personality as well as the personality of his ideal clients. And he wanted to be very clear that his brand colors showed who he was and who he was not, who he liked to work with and who he did not like to work with, so that, it did the work of attracting people that he wanted to work with, as well as repelling the types of people that he didn't want to work with. So if you search for Mark Hansen on LinkedIn or you go to his website, you will quickly see that his brand colors are very vibrant. They do not reflect the kind of old-fashioned suit and tie mentality of, maybe your dad or your grandfather's financial advisor. Also, in these episodes, Mark gives a really great behind the scenes look of how he uses AI to help him with his own content marketing and make sure that it's still human centered and resonates with the humans who are actually reading it. Everything that he does, captures his voice and his personality, even though he's using AI. So, if you want an inside look at a financial advisor's marketing system, especially from one who is really doing everything himself right now and using AI to make it more efficient, Mark's episode is a great one to listen to. Now, the last industry leader episode that I'm highlighting is Dave Armstrong. This episode is called Why Dave Armstrong Believes the Content Maker is the New Rainmaker, and everything that he does to bring this motto to life. So, Dave is the president and co founder of Monument Wealth Management, which I believe he started back in 2007, 2008, right amidst the beginning of the Great Recession and the housing market downfall. What I love about Dave and his firm Monument is they bring their personality unashamedly into their branding. They are not afraid to use four-letter words in their branding and their content, and they are really proud of delivering what they call unfiltered opinions and straightforward advice. So, Dave is also sharing in this episode how he and his team managed to create so much content without spending all of their working and even non-working hours creating content, and why he believes that this is truly the best way to market your business in 2024 and 2025 and moving forward. Now, I am also a big believer that content marketing is the marketing of today. And so I'm really excited to highlight this conversation with a financial advisor who is doing that and putting that into practice. So, just to recap, I have shared 3 of my top episodes from industry experts that I interviewed last year and 3 of my top episodes from industry leaders. And I will link to all 6 of these episodes in the show notes. I'm so excited to bring you more great content with great guests in 2025. And I will catch you next time on the next episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. If you're eager to market your business in a way that feels good and actually gets results, sign up for the Finance Marketing Podcast newsletter in the show notes so you never miss another episode. If you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening app and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you back here next Friday.